Today we'll be highlighting three of our Career Development Award winners. These three women have had three very different experiences with their Career Development Award, and so we're really excited to hear from each of them. First, we will have Dr. Halime Goulet share her screen and share with us what she did with her Career Development Award.
So I hope everybody's seen my screen, right?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Um, First of all, I want to start saying thank you to everyone in the committee and to organize this nice association, because it is really game changer for most of the women in the field. Like me, maybe like other awardees, and you are providing very nice sources for everybody, not only for women, maybe other people in the community. It is very, very helpful, and I always feel myself in that community like well supported. So thank you very much for this. I want to briefly introduce myself first and then how I did use this award for my career development. So I'm a postdoctoral researcher in my third year, working with Irene Davis at University of South Florida in Tampa. And now, as I'm in my third year in my postdoc, I wanted to apply for K-99 grant application. For those who doesn't know about the K-99 application, is a kind of NIH grant or NIH award to be independent researcher in your future. So it is providing 2 year training, and then you can become a independent faculty member in one of the universities who have the open position. So I did application, and it was a big grant application. So we worked hard for almost like 3 months. And as a part of application, you wanted to provide a pilot data, and this application needs to be something new for you. So because you are in a certain type of environment and certain type of background, uh, that award want you to become more kind of independent, and you know want them to you work in a new feature, new kind of field. And so far, musculoskeletal modeling, something that I wasn't working. And then we decided to integrate this tool in my grant application so that I can train myself in different fields, and also I can bring my previous background, previous backgrounding, and come up with the new ideas in my future faculty career path, right? Therefore, I need a training, and we decided to get this training from Ross Miller. Ross Miller, again, is one of the well-known researcher in the field. So we plan to visit University of Maryland for 1 week, and there I received hands-on training in musculoskeletal modeling, basically. And that experience directly strengthened my K-99 proposal, as I say, because I had a chance to learn from the well-known person, well-known researcher in the field, and be able to develop a pilot data during this a week period. So basically, I needed a fund for travel and accommodation. So I got $250 from IWB, and for the remaining part, Woodway helped me to stay in one of the hotel and also support me for the flight tickets. I personally cover my meals. I want to highlight that part because then I learn actually your institution or somebody else can also cover your meals for daily meals. So you may want to ask your institution or whoever also funding you in the future. So what I learned from this experience, again, that experience helped me to develop foundational technical and analytical expertise in musculoskeletal modeling. I actually had a very nice entry point, very strong entry point in such an area that I haven't had any experience before. And also that experience helped me to understand or helped me to learn the importance of setting clear objectives, which could be important in such visits. Because if you are going to a conference or if you are doing any seminar, you're already setting your goals beforehand, right? You know what to do, you know what to expect. But from a lab visit or from this type of informal visit or activities, you really want to set your prior objectives beforehand so that it can be productive as much as possible. And my prior goal was to prepare my pilot data, but in the meantime, then I realized that I can set some other goals so that I can keep going or keep working on the musculoskeletal modeling, even if I don't have my grant or after this application. So I will say that experience is a part of my is a part of it's helped me to build a new collaboration for my career. So impact on my career path, I always see the academic roadmap or academic journey is a big roadmap. So you start with MSc and then PhD, postdoc, and then become an assistant professor if you are lucky in this days. And during that way, during this roadmap, there are some like coins that you want to collect. Those coins can be travel grants or can be attending conferences, can be your network or meeting with other people. Of course, your papers and everything. And I assume or I consider this IWB award as one of the gold coin that I want to collect during my roadmap or on my roadmap so that it helped me to become successful in the future and reach my goals in a faster and easier way. And that IWB award exactly did what I imagine, what I described here. The other beneficial part of the IW award is, you know, when you attend a conference or when you want to do some other activities, you already have funding support, right? If you want to like recruit somebody or initiate a study, you already kind of like funding mechanism. But for this type of lab visits or different type of activities, we don't have the funding mechanism. So we mostly depends on our advisor uh, funds or our pockets, basically. Therefore, IWB really helped me to, at this point, like IWB helped me to find a source and then I able to recruit somebody else like Woodway to help me again to support me for the remaining part so that I was able to achieve what I needed to do for my grant application. So in another word, this grant application is really filling the gap we needed for our career. Apart from all these things, of course, that award helped me to gain a nice mentorship from Ross Miller and networking opportunities with people in that lab, in the University of Maryland's lab. Of course, I did this experience by myself, not with my research lab or my colleagues. So therefore, that was a kind of like a solo trip for me, and that gave me to that strengthened my confidence to become an independent researcher. So I plan all the trip by myself. I plan all the objectives, and then I also plan to get how to fund myself. So it helped me to really become an independent researcher. And of course, for me personally, also it is important to translate my academic insight or my clinical insight into the research in something more technical things. So in the long term, again, IWB helped me to achieve this goal, achieve this vision, and then as a person who is getting the benefit of this award, I now feel myself more committed to mentor future scientists and then clinicians who wants to get this award or who wants to work in that field. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Goulet. Does anyone have any questions about for Dr. Goulet about her experience with Dr. Miller's lab through her Career Development Award?
I have a question.
Sure.
I was just curious how you made the connections or uh, how you found the opportunity and made that relationship.
Great. I think this is a great question. And if I need to be honest, I got this connection thanks to my advisor, thanks to Irene, because Irene has a kind of close relationship with Ross Miller. But on the other hand, I would say this community, this biomechanics community, is very welcoming. Uh, I mean, even if they don't know Irene, even if they don't know my background, there are so many people out there and they want to help you to get what you want to get. Like, I remember myself in one of the first ISB conferences, I was talking with Robin Quinn or some other, again, well-known people, and they were like always more than happy to help me whatever I want to get in my career. So I really would recommend you to be open and then reach people out. I believe they will be helpful to get this lab visit, to get that experience, in 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 the field or in the field that you want to work. Yeah,
Thank you.
sure,
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Goulet, for sharing your
sure.
experiences. I would next like to invite Dr. Asal Afatunian to share her screen and to share with us her experience with the Career Development Award.
So, hi everyone. Uh, First, thank you so much for the invite for this meeting and also for the support from IWB. So, I'm gonna talk about my experience with Career Development Award. So, I did an internship last summer in motion analysis or game lab at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, and IWB helped me to have a better experience during this internship. So a little background about me. I grew up in Tehran, Iran. I got my bachelor in biomedical engineering back in Azad University in Tehran. And then I worked my PhD with Dr. Scott Mumford at Montana State University and just graduated. And now I'm starting as a research scientist at Virginia Commonwealth University. So during my PhD, I started since I started my PhD, I joined IWB as a member, and then in the first year of my PhD, I realized we can volunteer for IWB, so I joined. I started with volunteering in a monthly meeting committee member, and then this year I elected as the treasurer, so I'm so excited to commit more for this great community. And through my experience, this is a really friendly, supportive, professional home for women in biomechanics. I learn a lot and make a lot of connection with using IWB. And then this Career Development Award, it also even makes it better and help more for, I realize, even not for me, but for other women in biomechanics, but it helped me a lot for my internship to make it possible. So now I'm going to talk about my internship at Gate Lab. This lab, Dr. Tolchin Francis, she's the director of it, and she's also on the call, so I'm going to say hi to her. And thanks again for the opportunity. But yeah, I talked to them and told them that I want to see working in clinical environment other than academia, see how biomechanics can help in clinical environment. And then I joined their team, and they have an amazing team. They have all orthopedic surgery, biomechanics and engineers, and also PT over there. So it was a great environment to see how different group of like knowledge can work together to make patients' lives easier. And so they have two gate lab, like two similar rooms, so you can have multiple patients at the same time. But like during the time that I did my internship, we used marker motion capture system and force plates, and there were very different kind of projects happening at the same time. But the main part was focusing on gait on patients with different disability, for example, spine issues or different injuries in sports, or even neuromuscular or musculoskeletal rare disease in specifically in children's, and also limb differences in children. So you can see different type of patients and even healthy kids for control, and ask them to do different tasks, but mainly focusing on their gait. For example, this is one of the video of a patient, and yeah, during the time that I spent there, I learned how the communication between engineers and surgeons happens to help like make a decision for patients and decide how they can improve their body movement. And then so the project that I worked on a few data that were collected on children with a spine curvature, and I worked on their drop landing, which was kind of like the movement I already worked for my PhD. So I select that to also look at another aspect of using drop landing, but this time on patients with spinal issues. And then, so it was specifically on scoliosis patients, and they were all children. And I was working on looking at the curve severity of their trunk stability during drop vertical jump, and try to see if if we can find a correlation between their cove angles, and like find if it related to other biomedical patterns for during their movement. So I don't want to bore you with the details of the project, but this is an example of how we go through processing the data during these uh, 3 months, and yeah, eventually I presented there at two conferences the data that I worked on, and it was a great experience to do that. And yeah, so all great pictures during that time. But yeah, IWB, I contact them at the beginning of when I got the internship, and asked them for more support, because it was for 3 months and I have to move across the country to get there, and it was like all traveling accommodation, and the IWB support helped me to know there is support for some financial, so I don't have to stress out about that part. But it was a great help, and as always, IW is a really friendly community, so I always enjoy to even ask them the question, and I'm sure there are always a solution. Like there are many people, and they try to help you for that. So with that, I want to thank again IWB for their support and make this journey happen. And now I'm open for any question. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Aflatunian for her experience with her Career Development Award?
This is Kirsten Tolchin Francis, who she came to visit, and I just have to say it was absolute pleasure to have her in the lab. It was a great opportunity, both for her and for us. I was glad that we got the chance to participate with her getting this award for the International Women in Biomechanics. So I appreciate the support of the organization and kind of helping these students and young postdocs get experiences like this. So it was a pleasure. And nice to see you again. Hi.
Yes, thank you, Christine.
I would love to know, we always talk about what hard skills we learn when we go to new jobs and new internships, but because I imagine it was a very different lab environment from the one that you completed your PhD in, what were some of the soft skills that you felt you were able to grow while you were doing this internship that you hope to bring and plan to bring with you to this next role?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, for sure. That was the first 2 weeks for me. It was only settling, just get familiar with the environment and what's the rule, because it was definitely different from academia. But for me, I try to learn more on communicate with patients, especially because they were children. Just try to see how a physician or the PT or biomechanics, how they communicate with them for ask them to do different movement and how it works. And yeah, it seems like another skill that you need. So that was one of the unique thing I realized through that. And another thing, like it was the teamwork that I learned through them, especially like when they have meetings with surgeons, that was totally different. Like it was another language to me. Like the first few weeks, I was shocked, but then after that, I realized how is the routine of the work there. So yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. And then finally, I would like to invite Dr. Alexandra Zeraldo Fradoza to share her screen so that she can share with us the unique experience that she had with her Career Development Award.
Hi, so hello everyone. I'm Alexandra, as Julia said, and I would like to say thank you again to IWB and Sage Motion for sponsoring my amazing award. And I'm super excited to share some reflections. So when we were approached to share today our thoughts, the framework was, what did you do with the award? What was your experience? What did you learn? And how did you use it? And I feel like to give you this story, I need to give you a little bit of background because of my PhD, because my PhD doesn't seem very aligned with the course that I did. However, you will see how everything got together, which is exciting. So one of my passions is to analyze movement and improve performance. And more than that, I love solving task challenges. So I went to EOW in Australia and I did a PhD in wearable devices. We built little prototypes, we put biofeedback systems on them, and we tried to improve the way how older adults were walking. And we achieved it. It was really great. We saw like changes. However, since I'm a teenager, I had another passion, and that was performing arts. It was always as a hobby, and but since I have memory, like these shapes my daily practice as a physiotherapist. And I define myself as a mover. I explore things within circus disciplines, dancing, theater. But more than performing, I love to see how other people like move, and I love to identify. There is this big curiosity of how can we quantify those movements and how can we prevent injury. So at the end of my PhD, I decided that I needed to go for that, explore that passion as well. And then in that way, I could combine two things that always look a little bit like a dichotomy. And so now I'm in a journey to merge my passion for performing arts with biomechanical applications. But I needed to upskill because even though when I've been doing things in circus, as a physiotherapist, I never had any training, a clinical training, and always been from my knowledge during my degree. So I applied for this award and I got to do this cool course given by Dr. Emily Sherb. It's called Circus Fusion, Circus Medicine Education. She's actually here. I saw her name somewhere here. And she combines principles of physiology, biomechanics, exercise science, and applies all these principles to care for the bodies of circus artists. What did I learn within that course? I'm still doing it. And one of the things that was kind of an eye-opening is that the people that we work with are not only professional circus artists. So even if you do regular classes, you are also part of that community. So there is a big, big community. When you think about it, I remember in one of her classes, she was saying that in a study, 95% of people that did circus got injured. So that's a big, big number. And usually 65.6, I think, if I'm not wrong, of that people got like injuries for repetitive movement. So there is room when you think about from the injury perspective to explore biomechanics. So we look into the biomechanical principles from the circus perspective. We talk about injury mechanisms, injury prevention, how it is applied for rehab in circus. We look into how do you evaluate, because someone that does they open the legs like a lot is not the same with their normal range of motion that other people have, so I started to get all these skills, and we talk as well about sports science principles to do circus training, which is coming from all the literature that it's in sports. We had some case studies, and more than just the concept that I've been learning, it's been great to have like other things aside. So one of the things is the mentorship from one of the most respected professionals and clinicians in the medicine circus industry, as Emily is, and learning all these skills and gaining expertise. But one of the things that I've been learning more is identifying who is in the industry, who is also around the world doing the same thing that I'm so super passionate about. So that was very inspirational, seeing that there are little pockets here and there that they're doing biomechanics. There is one group, for example, in Canada, that they are modifying equipment to improve the way how they're the artists are receiving the load. I love to listen as well to experiences from other people, because we were gathering with other people, their students that are already doing circus, seeing patients as circus people, and identifying that there is a business there that is sustainable as well. And it gave me as well a space and time to integrate all these concepts and identify where I was going to put them in my journey, because I still want to keep working with wearable devices, with biofeedback, but then how do I bring all that into my field? So that gave me a lot of confidence and empowerment in an emerging field, because as Dr. Sherrick was saying, we all are pioneers in that field. So when we think about the future, and actually, to be honest, I knew that we had to do this presentation. So during the whole year, I was thinking, what I'm going to show? And that was a good thing, because there were heaps of ideas brewing in my head. And I thought, okay, what are the other possibilities that I have within research and beyond, where I can use my current network and the knowledge that I already have to expand my experience? So aside from the connections that I've made already, I went back to my roots and to some connections that I had back home. For some reason, even though when I've been in Australia for 8 years, for me it's quicker, and I don't know, I just feel like back home in Colombia, I can run little projects super easier, whereas sometimes I feel a little bit intimidated here, I will say. So one of the connections that I've built and I keep growing is with the Dance Research Collaborative in Australia. And this is a very nice group where we support each other, that people that are interested in dance, and it's not just clinicians, academics, and we come together from many different universities and institutions. But then I thought, if I need to run a project tomorrow and I need to make an application and try to get funding, who do I need and what team I need to put together? So these are some people that I would like to share with you some things that I did with them based on the inspiration that I had from the course from Dr. Emily Sherrick. So let's start with La Gata Circo. They are a leading reference point in Latin America, in the Latin American contemporary circus industry. They've been working for 25 years, and at the end of last year, they had a big performance where they had a season where they had 80 artists on stage, and they asked me to be the physio for those performances. So they had to perform 11 days, do 18 shows, and I would like you to appreciate that these people are athletes, and they train probably 4 or 5 hours per day. but also usually this is not the type of athlete that you see in sports where they have seasons and then they have a break and they can plan their year. Some of these people are coming from contract to contract, traveling around the world, coming into this show, this big production, and then with overloading, you start seeing injuries. So these are some of the things that we found in them. It was an amazing experience. It was super, like heaps of adrenaline because you have to be on the spot. They're going out. There are like 10,000 people out there. How do you help this body? So from that, I do what I love to do as well. So we collected some data and we started analyzing things. So with Angie and Gustavo, we've been together having sessions when we talk about what do we see in some videos. So for example, we asked someone from the company to do a movement that she used to be able to do with her two sides, left and right, but now she feels a lot of pain in one of her hips. And you could see that the opening of one of her hips is not the same as the other one anymore. So I don't want you to focus on all the different graphs. It was just more to show you what we've been exploring. But just from saying the graph, the green and the orange, one is one hip and the other one is the other. They should have similar pattern, but we clearly see that there is more variability in one compared with the other one. So we started to see other ways of analyzing that movement. And some of the way how I was approaching this was taking into consideration some of the things that Emily was saying about the assessment. Then we have another person who receives loads all the time, and he has pain in his elbow. So when we think about the movement that he was doing, he does this repetitive movement, but then at the end, he twisted a little bit. So we were realizing that it's not just from the elbow, it's a whole pattern of movement. So we asked him to do a little exercise, a little functional activity. And we realized that we assumed that he's very stable, but actually, in these boxes, you can see this is a representation of his arms, shoulder, and wrist, and he doesn't land in the same spot. So the different, like you see a bit a square that is bigger than the other one. So he doesn't land in the same place. So that is translated into his movement when he's receiving load. And this got me to think, well, it is true that some of the movements are not symmetrical, but we could come back to some things that we can, like say, for example, the simple plank, to identify, wow, there are some ways that we can actually look how he's receiving that load up there and maybe work through it, have more information. So this is just an exploration of what we were doing. The last thing that I did was I did a collaboration with Tatiana Castillo, who is a graphic designer and an artist. And one of the things that I was trying to identify was, how do I put these two profiles of Alexa together? How does the movement training fit into this academic world? So the idea of bringing together all the information in a repository came to life. And we've been working into creating a website where I can display different roles that I had and how one profile fits the other. So this is just a screenshot of what we've been working on, writing a lot of different text, taking pictures from different laboratories that inspire me, different technologies that inspire me, and thinking how could be, like, what can I do? How can I use this platform in the future for increase or expanding my practice and help as well, not only in Australia, but also in Colombia. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Do we have any questions for Dr. Geraldo Pedrosa on her research and experience with this Career Development Award?
Yeah, I had just a quick question. I was wondering what your experience was with circus and biomechanics and engineers versus PTs. I also do circus, and I was kind of interested in that area for a while. And I'm in the US though, and all I found was like a couple like more research labs or like physical therapists only. But I'm like traditionally a mechanical engineer. So I just wasn't sure if you found that it was more on the PT side or if it's starting to be more biomechanics in general, or if like you had any opinion on that whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it's actually thank you for that, Caitlin. I think it's a growing field where I used to feel the same, where everything was more like from the rehab. But actually, there is a group in Canada, the Research Center of Human Potential, that one of their researchers she's a mechanical engineer. I met this person, well, I didn't actually talk to her, but I got to know this person through one of the talks that Emily does. And she was literally working on purely engineering into how does the load land into the shoulders of some acrobats, and then they were modifying all the equipment that they were having in the school. So I'm not aware of too many, but it's definitely things are happening, and I feel like we are more and more realizing that we need these multidisciplinary, you know, collaborations, because otherwise we just talk about injury prevention, but there are all the things that play to be able to, like, like say, for example, a person in the trapeze, like, they always have an equipment, they always have all the things that is not just their body.
Oh, thank you so much.
I would like to thank all of our speakers from today. It was really exciting to hear about what they did with their Career Development Award, and to also understand how these awards are impacting the trajectory of their career. So thank you all for sharing and for taking the time to create those presentations for us. And then if you feel inspired from this, a reminder that the next Career Development Award application deadline is at the end of March. And I'm linking that as well in the chat. And it should be noted that this particular link can only be accessed if you are logged in as a member to your IWB membership account. So if you haven't already renewed your membership for this year, this is another reason to do so.